Now, Scott Horton, editorial director of antiwar.com. Scott, appreciate you doing this. Do you think Israel has the right to do this and to defend itself? Or do you think that this is just a bad idea?
Well, yeah, two separate questions. The way you framed it was launching an aggressive war is defending itself, but that's just because you say it that way. In any other contest, of course, it's completely illegal. This is what Japan did to us at Pearl Harbor, the day of infamy, a surprise sneak attack against a country that wasn't attacking them. And so that was what was going on here. And the fact is, they were in the middle of negotiations. And the reporting now is that Trump was actually shining the Iranians on and was pretending to negotiate with them and was telling them,
let's just insert a couple
public
things.
statements that he had.
It was Israel that was attacked on October 7th by an Iranian proxy and by Hezbollah. It was also Israel that was attacked by Iran. It was also U.S. troops that were attacked by Iran. Nevertheless, who in their right mind would allow someone, a regime that runs around chanting death to America, death to Israel, or if someone was running around chanting death to Scott Horton, would you want them to have a nuclear bomb?
Well, the thing of it is, as I'm sure you must know, as the CIA and the rest of the intelligence community concluded back in 2007, Iran stopped even researching into how to make a nuclear bomb after George Bush got rid of Saddam Hussein for them. They had no more need for a nuclear weapon at that time. They opened up their books, and everyone watching this knows that Netanyahu has said they're a few weeks away from a bomb for the last 20 years. They still don't have a single one. And in February, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, put out the threat assessment, the annual threat assessment. Everyone can read it at dni.gov. And it says that they have not made the decision to begin to pursue a nuclear weapon.
You don't think that the Israelis have better intelligence? Come on.
No. Look, there's nothing saying that late Israeli claims of recent advancement are true. No one else is confirming that at all. In fact, what they had all along, Leland, was a latent nuclear deterrent. It's the same as Germany or Japan or Brazil, where they had shown that they had perfected the fuel cycle. They know how to make nuclear weapons fuel, but they're not making it. And so what has happened here is with this attack, I know you want to hoist up your mission accomplished banner, but with this attack, they're actually more likely to pursue nuclear weapons now, whereas before they actually were not pursuing
Germany
them,
and Brazil,
despite your begged question in your question.
Germany and Brazil, a few things, don't run around chanting death to America or death to Israel, for that matter.
And they weren't making nuclear weapons either.
What I'm trying to figure out is why destabilizing a regime that has made its sole mission to destroy Israel and, for that matter, to destroy the United States, why that would be a bad thing?
Well, George W. Bush told Ehud Olmert absolutely not back in 2007 because the Pentagon told him that it would be too reckless, that Iran is not Iraq, which was already bad enough and way worse than Bush thought it was going to be, and that Iran would not be a pushover and that they would have escalation dominance in the region, that they could threaten our soldiers in Iraq, which we still have thousands of soldiers in Iraq. We also have tens of thousands, as you just show on your map there, in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and Saudi. $1 trillion worth of economic targets.
Scott, I understand all that.
They can close the Straits of Hormuz. They can close the Straits of Hormuz.
I understand all the bad things that can happen. I understand all the bad things that can happen. This is the exact same things that the Iranians were doing. Okay, they were attacking U.S. soldiers. The problem is, once Iran gets a nuclear bomb, there were more than 150 attacks by Iranian proxies against U.S. interests during the Biden administration. We just all conveniently forgot about it. But I continue. The issue here, and the reason the world is safer, is because once Iran got a nuclear bomb or was on the beyond the point of no return, they could act with absolute impunity. They could do all the bad things you said, and the world couldn't do anything to them because they had a nuclear bomb.
Well, here's the thing of it. We had a deal before
that they kept breaking.
That they were not in violation of, that Donald Trump tore up at Netanyahu's behest in 2018. Under that deal,
why do you hate Benjamin Netanyahu so much?
If they decided to break out and try to create a nuclear weapon, it would have taken them at least a year to get enough fissile material to even make one, much less complete the process of making one. That was the deal Trump tore up. At that time, any enriched uranium. Why don't you let me finish? Anytime they enriched uranium,
because half of the things you're saying isn't true, and the other half are wrong.
They had no stockpile of enriched uranium because they shipped it all out to France to be made into fuel rods and then be shipped back into the country under the old deal. It was after Trump withdrew from the deal at Netanyahu's behest that they then began to stockpile the enriched uranium that you're referring to that makes them that much closer to the bomb. Trump could have just got back in the deal and called it the Trump deal instead of the Obama deal, and all of this would have been fine.
It was a bad deal to begin with. I still don't understand why you believe that we should allow a country that has shown a willingness to launch terror attacks on the United States, kill Americans, launch and support terrorists around the world and attack our allies. Why even take the risk that they could possibly get a nuclear bomb?
That's funny. You know, I wonder how you think that after Iraq and Somalia and Libya and Mali and Syria and Ukraine and Afghanistan, that the United States of America ought to be in charge of bombing countries, changing their regimes, fixing anything, especially in the Middle East, especially what Netanyahu wanted. He's the one who said, if we got rid of Saddam Hussein for him, then everything would be, that peace would reverberate throughout the region. But instead, we put Iran's best friends in power in Baghdad, a war I'm sure you supported too. And then now we supported Al-Qaeda, Mujahideen in Syria, because they are enemies of Iran's friends in Syria.
The idea that
you support that? You support Al-Qaeda in Syria?
I've spent a lot of time in the places that you just talked about. But that beside the point. So are you saying under no condition, so under no condition should a country, this was not the United States bombing Iran, by the way, this has been Israel, there's a distinction. Is there no country that has a right to keep its enemies, its sworn enemies, from getting a nuclear weapon?
Well, Truman did not attack the Soviet Union to prevent them from getting nukes, and Johnson did not invade China to prevent them from getting nukes. Mao Zedong was by far the worst person who ever lived, the most dangerous person who ever lived. We didn't launch a preemptive war against them, and they haven't used a nuclear weapon a single time. Only the United States has used nuclear weapons.
So you believe religious fanatics who chant death to America, death to Israel aren't a little bit different than the Soviet Union and China? Come on. I mean, you're putting an awful lot of weight. You're putting an awful lot of weight in somehow the fidelity and goodness.
You think Mao Zedong's a better man than the Ayatollah, huh? We got you on tape, buddy.
Okay. I don't understand what your point is.
That Mao Zedong killed 40 million people. Yeah. You must not know anything about communism.
I know plenty about Mao and that he killed 4 million people. I'm not sure how I said he was better or worse than the Ayatollah. 4 million?
Is that what you just said?
Okay. All right.
He killed 40 million people.
I understand that, Scott.
Million.
I understand that, Scott. I'm just trying to figure out why we would let another fanatic get a nuclear weapon.
Well, again, you're begging the question with your
Have you ever spent time in Israel?
Iran mastered the fuel cycle 20 years ago.
Scott, have you ever spent any time in Israel?
Iran mastered the fuel cycle 20 years ago, and they haven't made a single atom bomb.
Scott, have you ever spent any time in Israel? Scott, have you ever spent time in Israel?
No, I have not been there.
So you've never been under the threat of Iranian missiles.
Have you ever been to Iran? Have you ever been to
because they won't give me a visa.
The Natanz facility?
They won't give me a visa.
Okay.
Because they don't want journalists there, because they won't answer questions, because they imprison Americans and execute anybody who speaks out against the regime.
Bomb if you've never been.
Okay. Because they say they want one.
No, they don't. They have disavowed nuclear weapons.
Then why won't they let journalists in? Why won't they let journalists in, Scott?
Treaty.
If they
All
don't,
you got is misinformation.
No,
dude.
they won't let anybody in. Okay, James, this is the point. Scott, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Good luck to you.
The point is made.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Now, Scott Horton, editorial director.